Ooh, that one sounded like it had a fade out.
I moved it away from the microphone.
Oh, look at that.
Here we go. Let's do it again. This is again.
Fading out. Welcome to Fat Guys No More.
There
Look
we
at
go. We
that.
have
That's
invented new technology live on the internet. Or at least one
so
of them.
Tesla. If you're looking for innovations, we've invented the move away from the microphone uh,
We,
fade away.
I love that we do this royalty-free music, so we don't have to pay for anything, and you go straight to Tesla,
They're
which is
listening, man. Whatever his name is, he sends
oh
cars
shit.
out to. He's sending cars to Mars,
Okay,
and
okay. So I don't mean to segue, but Cindy got
immediate
me
segue.
balloons. But Cindy got me balloons, and one of them just walked into the ceiling fan, and there was a ruckus above. I thought the ceiling was coming down. Sorry.
That was that. Look at that segue. Immediately from going from Tesla sending cars to Mars to balloons in your living room.
All right, I'm gonna
Hey,
go. I'm gonna.
I do have a question for those viewing us, which I believe we have none. But if anybody comes over on watches us on YouTube or
Well,
which
it
you can
can't.
find
It won't
us
be on YouTube for till later. But if
right,
you do
if
watch it on YouTube later and want, you feel free to ask a question below, and we will either respond or cover it live.
we can cover it live, or we'll get back to you the following week if you do add a question on YouTube,
That's what I
and
meant.
and we go back and watch it, read it, the YouTube
No,
comments, which
I get notified. So
he'll get
um,
notified and then we'll answer it. I have a
yeah.
question though, Scott. Can you see the ball? Can
I
you see it in
can't
the
right
video?
now because I'm actually looking at the Facebook. So just chat about something
So
right
there's the
now.
ball. I'm going to show
Share
this.
on
Watch
my
this
own timeline.
magical. The magic ball is about to happen. You ready? On the count of three, two, one. Look at there. The ball came alive. I forgot to
It
plug
just
it in
came
before the.
alive. It's not
I
on,
forgot
is it?
to. Yeah, it just came on, man. If you were paying attention, you would have noticed that. So while we're here, guys, and Scott's trying to share this on his Facebook, I want to say if you hear some random singing, the layout of my house, I'll give you a quick update on what that is. I do these videos from my wife's office. I guess it would be considered my office too from when I work from home. I work in her office. Um, but directly behind me is my daughter's bathroom, and she's taking a bath right now. She's on. Normally she's in bed by the time we do these, but this week is spring break, so she's staying up a little bit later and doing bath right now during what should be her bedtime. So if you hear some wonderful singing, it'll be a beautiful 4-year-old singing, and she may or may not decide to come in here when she's done with this to tell
Those
me
are
that her
those of
butt
you who
hurts.
those of you who are regulars on the podcast, you will recall that Emmy has made a cameo once before when her butt hurt,
Yeah,
and
this goes
it,
back about 4 episodes. If you roll back to the Tim Huff episode, you will get to see if you watch the video, you'll get to see a short clip of her and a crystal clear freaking. If you want to hear uh, advertisement for the Apple iPod AirPods, crystal clear her saying her butt hurts. So there's
yes.
your advertisement for AirPods. It does not shy away from picking up sound.
But what we did learn is that my microphone is actually quite directional as I move the phone away.
That's right.
If
I'm
that
curious how
you
that
could
works.
you can't be our sound tech because you can't fade.
I have to actually turn the volume down. I don't know what that's about. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
So while we're here, guys, obviously it is just Scott and I tonight. Easter is, I say, is a tough time to get some guests. We had some conflicting issues this week, and uh, so we want to wish everyone a happy Easter. Um, he is risen, so Scott and I are both Christians and celebrate Easter as a Christian
I did what
holiday.
every good Christian that hasn't been to church in a long time does on Easter and went to church.
Attaboy. You know what I did? I didn't go to church this morning because I went to church last night. I did the
Oh.
Easter service at Saturday night
Ah,
um, in hopes that I would get to sleep in today and avoid the Easter crowds. I did avoid the Easter crowds, but when you live with a 4-year-old, you don't get to sleep in.
no, that doesn't happen
So
very often.
the Easter bunny visited. She came downstairs and wanted to find out what the Easter bunny gave her.
Now, conversely, I will tell you that once your child reaches the age of 12 and 16 and you take them on spring break, they don't know if the sun is up at noon because they're still asleep.
I,
Um,
I did have a conversation with someone about that this week.
and on our last night there, I woke up in the morning and I walked out of my bedroom and Maxwell was playing Fortnite. And um, I said, did you ever go to bed? And he goes, no, I was winning. Okay. So we get in the car and leaving the ISIS cave that I once broadcast from down in the southern region near Florida or in Florida or somewhere. We don't want to triangulate. Um, he was asleep in the back seat within 1 mile. He woke up long enough to eat half a bowl of hash browns and sausage at Waffle House and got back in the car, went back to sleep for the rest of the journey, which
That,
makes
that
for a peaceful drive.
and honestly, it makes for a good drive for him. So my mother-in-law is what she used to do is anytime they had to travel more than like a couple hours, they literally would leave at like 2:30 or 3 in the morning because then the kids are sleeping for so many hours.
Mm.
It makes it much nicer drive for you. Not are we there yet? So now are we? I have to stop in Pete's.
Yeah, yeah, that can happen on a somewhat regular basis.
Yeah, I'm a little terrified. I have a couple trips coming up. Well, I have a trip coming up with Emmy in about 2 months. That's a 7 hour drive, and
Where's that?
to Daytona. So I get a vacation from the firm, and so we're heading down to Daytona. And uh, normally we leave in the morning, but I'm actually going to leave directly after work on like Thursday, and directly
Does
after
that
work
mean
on
Emmy's coming
Thursday.
to work?
No, I mean I will be working from home. I've already cleared that one.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna work from home. Sandra's gonna pack up as soon as I log out. We are
Gotcha.
7 hours on the road, so hopefully she'll sleep on the way there. But yeah, probably not.
Well,
Kids know how
next
to do
week,
that.
not this week is in next week is in starting tomorrow, but starting actually my next week really starts on Friday when I will do about the same thing as you, but I will probably actually go to work that day because it's almost easier to get out of town that way. I will get off work on Friday at whatever time I get off work, and I'll head to Anniston, Alabama, which I'll drive right past Chad Bragg's house.
Driving past Chad Bragg's house, past Ma Bragg's house,
Yeah, and
and on
then
the way to towards Paul Bragg's house. Actually,
I'll be closer to Pa Bragg's house than anybody
yeah.
because I'll be staying in Anniston.
So
Um,
if the old man's listening and wants to go see a bicycle race, you can see
Saturday,
Scott drive by on a motorcycle.
nope, not on Saturday. Saturday, I'm actually working on the stage to get experience on the stage,
You
working
can
as a judge.
you can see Scott on stage
Yes,
judging people.
yes, and you can talk to me all you want, and I won't pay any attention to you. It will be, um,
Oh, you got a text message. Somebody was watching and then they stopped.
ah, that's Erica who was going to be our guest. Um,
Oh,
yeah, she just had, I guess, but yeah, I'll be judging. And we were okay. So let's talk about our guests' potential, planned, and future. So
okay, we're gonna look at
to,
that segue. But boom, good job,
uh,
Erica.
yeah, a forced injection. Um, she's texting. She may
There she
want to
goes
join
again.
in.
So, yeah, we're going to talk. We have a
Okay.
guest coming up this week, hopefully.
Yes.
Um,
Go ahead. You while I text Erica because she may still join in. I mean, we're kind of winging it tonight. But
we have a quick we have an outline of things we would like to discuss. And given the fact that it is Easter and a lot of you guys are spending time with family and hopefully rejoicing in uh, the resurrection of Christ. But given that it is, we may go a little shorter tonight than usual, but we did have a small timeline if we wanted to discuss. So we're looking at, we will have our first ever midweek update show with a guest.
at
When, at
a
very,
time that don't tell anybody, but we're technically probably supposed to be working, so we'll be on our lunch break.
Yeah, I'll be taking this Wednesday during our lunch break. Can you hear me, Scott? Because you got choppy there for a second.
Yeah, you kind of cut out and then you like jumped from one side of the screen to the other and then settled back down. I think you
I,
had a
I thought that might have been me, not you. So yeah, we'll this week on or during your lunch break, people, on Wednesday around 11 a.m. Wednesday at around 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're supposed to
since we
have
are available worldwide, we should point out that that is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time.
Eastern Daylight
Um,
Time, 9
it,
a.m. Mountain
I,
Daylight Time. We'll have, I believe is she president? Is she president of Faith RX?
she's co-founder. Her and her husband founded it, I
Co-founder.
believe. But
I think that's right. I
we'll
knew it
get
was a weird thing, but yeah, co-founder or president, or we'll call her Madam President. I like that. Madam President of Faith RX, which is a faith, a Christian-based um, CrossFit kind of go together. That sounds as weird as that sounds. It's it'd be better when she explains it, but they run a Christian organization that works hand in hand with CrossFit affiliations, and in the what I like to refer to with OBB, we call this the 6 degrees of, instead of Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of weird. Scott can give you a little bit more background on this. She used to ride bicycles,
yes.
unmotorized bicycles, with Scott.
I don't recall. I may have raced some like local races with against her and gotten beaten, I'm sure. But at the time, I think I was actually doing most of the announcing in Colorado Springs, and she and a bunch of riders came out from a velodrome in Pennsylvania called T-Town, and I got to meet her, and the woman, quite honestly, is nice to everybody, never stops smiling, and based on everything I've seen, is probably good at any athletic endeavor she takes on, which is it's pretty cool. And I've watched some of her podcasts over on her Faith RX site and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to catching up with her, comparing and contrasting her thoughts on cycling and how she got away from it and how she got to CrossFit and stuff like that. Um, well, we'll have to see.
We did and to tie this in, and I will mention this again next week. I just quick tie in of a workout I did this week that I'd like to talk about is something they put out every year, and we do as a passion wad. So we'll talk about this next week with her, see how she does it and what she thinks about it. But the workout is, if anybody wants to do it, is 100 double unders or 100 jump ropes with your jump rope, an 800
Jump ropes
meter.
with your jump.
Best way to explain that. A double under is where you jump up and the rope goes under your feet twice for every jump. But it's something easily scalable. My mom doesn't do double under. She does. She can one at a time. It's really kind of painful for her. But we did that. And it was 100 double unders, 100 or a half a mile. Oh, there's the extra bath running.
It just
Half
sounds
a
like
mile.
somebody. It sounds like somebody's getting ready to have tea. It's not really obtrusive. Yeah, it's okay.
It's a lot louder on my side, I bet.
Okay.
Um,
So
but then
you
a
do have
half
a
a
little fade.
mile
You just have to you have to run the phone into Emmy's
into the
bathroom
bathroom.
to fade our background music.
It's a half a mile carry with 95 pound barbell to represent Christ carrying the uh, crossbeam to Golgotha, and then 100 burpees, which I know, Scott, you know what burpees are. I think everybody that halfway does a fitness world, burpee is where you lay down on the ground and then stand up and jump. That's about how we do it in the CrossFit world. Lay all the way
Yeah.
flat on the ground, stand up, jump. There's 100 of those. It
Yeah. See
represents the
that right
burial.
there? That right there is enough incentive to make me never do CrossFit because you said we do that in CrossFit. So,
One of the funny thing is, one of the guys we had this weekend, my friend Dallin Cole, he's just learning how to jump rope and how to do double unders. And the double unders represent the beating that Christ took before having to carry his beam to be crucified. But it represents that because if you miss your double under, you literally look like you've been whipped. Those ropes. So his wife said something. She was like, "Oh, how are you gonna do with the 100 double unders?" And he said he looked at her and was like, "You see 100 double? Did you not see the end of the workout? It's 100 burpees. That's at the end. That's all I see. I don't want to do that part." So yeah, but
Yeah.
it is infinitely scalable. My mom ended up doing 50 burpees and she was super proud of that. She didn't even do the full 100, but she's 61 years old.
I'm scared. Your
So
mom could kick my ass. I'm
my
just
mom's
saying.
she's pretty awesome. She didn't do the full weight. She
I mean,
didn't do
she
double
almost
unders.
reached that day. She almost reached through the phone in a text message after you called her 60s or something.
Ma, I know you're 61. You're 61. I know your birthday is January 6th. I've got this. Matt Reichert's social security number is this. I'm just kidding. I don't know that.
Do you know Tissa Rumps?
I can come pretty close to Titsas, I think. I bet we could find it. But yeah, so I would like,
I
that's
just
something we're
I
looking
wanted to
forward
use that as an opportunity to get all of our mentions in real quick so we didn't forget.
to. That's something next week with Becky Konzelman that I look forward to talking to her. And like you said, I know you want to talk to her about cycling and then moving into CrossFit and how she got to do all that.
Yeah.
So,
So
and continue with other guests that I know you're talking to. Erica is texting galore, I believe.
okay, yes, and we were negotiating a last minute guest, but being that we're already live and the technological advancements of coaching somebody online while we're live would be a big challenge. So we just decided the last message is let's definitely schedule it a night I won't forget, LOL. But I don't want. But her next sentence describes why she was going to join. The key thing with Erica is she is the one who convinced me that I really needed to do that assault on Mount Currahee, the the gravel race that I did, and that's not the only way I know her, but that's how during in that event she can also convinced her father to come up, and I had met her father that weekend. And it turns out her father in the past, I don't know the exact details, but he is a fat guy no more as well. He bought a bike and started riding his bike. And the connection there is his daughter Erica, who was just texting, is the current national women's criterium champion. So if your dad decides to show up and watch the bike race in Anniston, there will be a woman wearing a red, white, and blue stars and stripes jersey, and that will be Erica. And she stands a pretty good chance to win that criterium. She usually does pretty well there. So that we could have in the weeks following. We will have them. We'll talk to Dave Aller is his name about how he lost his weight, how he's doing his cycling. Right now, he's not cycling much because the assault on Mount Currahee assaulted him a little harder than it did me. He and my bicycle have a lot in common. They're broken. He managed to get off his bicycle the wrong way, and he got himself. I have one right here, a steel plate in his collarbone. So
Did he get off his bike over the handlebars? Because that's usually
no, what
frowned
happens
upon.
is he touched wheels with somebody, and when you touch wheels, as soon as you untouch wheels, you tend to immediately go the other direction, or continue going the direction you were going very quickly. So quickly, you usually slam into the ground, and that's what he did. Um, the right thing to do is if somebody moves to your right and hits your wheel on the front wheel on the left side, you basically turn right and roll away from it. But you only have about a split second to make that decision and handle it, or you fall on your face. I know it's no good. And that's what happened to Dave. And so he has been training on Zwift and trying to keep his fitness up and is looking forward to getting back on his bicycle. He's actually from the Tampa area, which is where I will be in 2 weeks from tonight. I will be leaving the Tampa area, actually. I will have already been there for 3 days. So.
Doing your Tour de Pink.
Yes. Yeah, we started talking about my week, but Friday I will go to Anniston. I will work all day Saturday. I will work on Sunday. Then I will drive home. Chances are good we can probably whip out a weekend update podcast telling you about the races and such. Then the next morning I will fly to Delaware. I will work in Delaware with my management team until Thursday at I think around 11. I'll leave the airport. I will fly home and I will go to my friend's house where I'm going to secretly store my bicycle, pick it up, and head to Tampa. So I figure because the ISIS cave, I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is because that'd be bad, and then you triangulate and try and shoot me or something. But it's in the northeast corner of the ATL, which would actually be over there based on I can't get my finger to work. And the airport's in the southwest corner. So on any given Friday after or Thursday afternoon, it would take about an hour to get home and then an hour to get back to where I was to get to Tampa. And put your aardvark away. So
By the way, again, if you're not watching this, guys, my aardvark is the tattoo I have on my
yeah,
bicep. It's not an
because
aardvark.
because I have this fancy Easter frame, you need to scooch to the side. There you go. There you go. There you go.
The
Okay, make
aardvark.
it. Yep.
So bear aardvark. So Scott wasn't saying anything weird. I didn't have any weird thing out when he just says, "Scoot, put your aardvark away." He's talking about my bicep.
Yeah, we're not talking to Robin here, which would.
This is we're not making it that awkward, guys.
Um,
So as you heard, guys, Scott is he's gonna be a busy fella for the next week and or 2 weeks, I guess,
yeah,
because
well, I'm on call this week, which we had a freeze and everything was beautiful on my last
and
on call, and now I'm going to pay for my sins. We're
and
going
now you're
to.
unfrozen,
Yes, but it's not even chilly anymore. We've got patching CRs coming out the you know what.
not the aardvark. The so that's Scott, and then is Erica and Rob? Is that his name?
Dave
Dave.
Aller should be a guest soon,
Dave
and
Attell. I want to call him
the,
Attell. Is Dave
uh,
Attell somebody famous?
yeah, it rings a bell. I don't know. We'd have to
We're
go
gonna
to the
we're gonna
Google.
have we're gonna have Dave Attell on as well. He hasn't
Joe's going to
done
use his
anything.
daughter's iPad or iPhone to figure this out. The other one is we have actually two national champions lined up, and John, when we were trying to grab a guest tonight at the last minute, but due to a scheduling snafu, we didn't have one. So I texted John, and he had Easter plans, and I told him that LBJ wins out every time. And then I realized, wait a minute, it wasn't really LBJ at this point. As they point out, the man had a beard, and he didn't die when he was a baby. If he did, the whole story would be just kind of strange. But
I like to think of my Jesus wearing a
that's
tuxedo
it.
T-shirt.
Oh, but wait, those are coming. Shh, don't tell anybody. Um, that we should actually wear those for the Kroom episode.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Okay, but John Kroom, the current national kilometer champion, who he started off at about 300 and something pounds, and was winning elite bike races at 250, and then he started getting serious. Hired a coach and went on to win the national championship. He was busy last week with a team pursuit camp, so he couldn't meet with us. He didn't want to mess up his brain cell, um, and so
Which
and
goes to
tonight
show you,
he had Easter plans.
national champions, guys, will tell you. It has been confirmed. National tell you, Fat Guys No More podcast. Scott and Joe, we kill brain cells. It's been confirmed. So be careful listening to the podcast. Um,
What else
and
did you
then,
write in that little card?
well, I'd say I have a couple guests lined up as well, and a couple guys I would like to. I haven't really talked to them. I know.
In other words, he's making this all up
Nope,
because we don't
I
have much
have
to
them.
talk about.
I've told them that we're going to have them on. I haven't really confirmed with them other than, hey, you used to be fat and you're not fat anymore. So I want to have you on my podcast. And that's my friend Eddie, who just recently joined our gym, but came down from South Carolina, came down from the Carolinas, um, and he
Maybe he came
showed
down
me a
from
picture.
North.
Dude,
Maybe he came out down from North South Carolina.
one of the northern California. I mean Carolina. The he But yeah, so if you look at this guy, super fit guy, and when he joined our gym, it was one of those things where it was kind of annoying. He's in his 40s,
Oh,
and
Joe, we have a
um,
viewer. We have a viewer. It might be me, but we have a viewer.
no, does she need to give love? Okay, I mean, we'll go for a little bit longer. We've been going for a few. Um, the Did you say the viewer might be you?
No, it is somebody I know. I'm going to say hi on
Okay.
the screen.
That would be fun. The viewer is me. But no, the guy would never have known that he was had used to be fat, and I think a few years back his brother had challenged him to something, and dude, he's flat out ripped now. It's my goal. I wish I could look like him, and in 7 years, I hope I look like him. So Eddie Harden is somebody I would like to have on there, and then my guest that I have confirmed would like to join us. We haven't picked out a time yet. Is uh, currently ranked, I think, 15th in the world from women ages 40 to 44 in the CrossFit Open.
Did we did we stalk Becky to see where she is?
I didn't see how she did, but I'll look it up and see how she did. But she, my friend Laura Nilsson, who I judged at competition in Miami last year, so January of 17, I judged her and we became really good friends afterwards. And so she's somebody that I really look up to, and she's told me that she wants to be on. So
That'd be cool.
we'll have her on, and she definitely comes from a different background than we do. I think she has more of a gymnastics background, and
Yeah,
she
because
getting
if
like
you've ever seen us try to do something gymnastics oriented, it's a broken hip waiting to happen.
yeah
Specifically me.
Becky is that was 2018. I don't know where she is. Let's see, 2018. She finished in the. I don't know if she did the Open this year.
No,
She finished 29th worldwide in her age group in the Open. I don't know
last
how
year.
all that went down. Yeah, I don't know why it's not updating. We'll talk to her about the Open and see how if she did that this year, or if if she were injured or something like that. What may
That
have
could be.
prevented her from doing that. So yeah, that's something to talk about. So yeah, we've got a number of guests lined up.
Yeah, it should be
Um,
exciting. And we've got some
guests.
pretty exciting updates. I think I updated this last week. I'm not 100% sure. Did I update last week that I have reached my goal for Tour de Pink
You
South?
you did. That's really exciting.
Yes, and I've
So
now started getting a few more donations. Um, I also created a really cool URL. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I am pinkbeard.com. If you just go there, it links
that's
you to
awesome.
whichever ride I'm collecting donations for next. Oh, let's see. Okay. Amanda asks, I'm going to show it. So not sure what you guys are talking about. Amanda, we don't have an agenda tonight. We don't have a guest, and we're kind of just making. Joe has a green piece of paper that he likes to put in front of the screen that I can't read. But Amanda asks, so not sure what you guys are talking about, but just wondering what you did to help lose weight, lose the weight you have. So okay, Amanda, and we'll briefly touch on this because it's really kind of a long conversation. But in short, I don't really want that on the screen anymore. I can't.
Poof, go away.
Okay, it's
Poof,
gonna
stay
it's
there.
gonna stay there. Okay, so what I did to lose weight was I originally started riding my bike more and eating right, and I'm putting air quotes around my head. I'm trying to, but I can't get my hands to work out because I'm using a video camera. I started eating right, which I really didn't know what it was, and about 6 weeks later, I was complaining that I wasn't losing any weight, and a guy told me that it was because I was eating wrong, and I said, "Huh? Don't make no sense." I was doing everything the standard American diet tells you to do. I was cutting back on calories, and I was not eating that much fat and everything, and I was not losing fat. So I went on a cruise, as strange as this may be, and ran into a dude named AB Dada, and he told me that he was on keto, and he told me all about keto, and I thought about it, and I decided on November 1st of 2016 to go keto for a month. I was just going to do it for 1 month. And is a keto is a very simple diet. It is you try and match your grams of lean body mass and protein, and you get 20 grams of carbs, and the rest you eat fat. And the theory is that by by starving your body of carb. Basically, when you have excess carbohydrates, your body, it triggers an insulin response, and the insulin takes the extra carbs in your blood system, and it has to store them. And the only way it can store them as fat. So if you take away the carbohydrates, they can't be converted to fat. In addition, if you live in a state of ketosis or um, getting your energy from burned fat long enough, you start to burn fat. I mean, even an Olympic marathon runner has enough fat in their body to fuel their body for at least a month. Um, I'm I don't consider myself fat anymore, but I do think I could still lose a few pounds, but I probably have enough to last an entire year. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way. But uh, one of the things I did is I trained my body for living in a low carbohydrate, high fat state, and I trained myself to ride a bicycle in that state. Before Tour de Pink, everybody they have the big pasta, and everybody's like, oh, we have to carbo load, and they have a whole bunch of oatmeal at breakfast and everything. I eat some eggs and some bacon and go ride. So it's a long process, and I'd be glad to share more notes with you. There's a website I use called Keto Evangelist. If you knew I don't know how to spell evangelist, and I always get it wrong, but I always Google it and it comes up. It's a great site, teaches you all about it. Um, the and that's my path, and riding a ton last year. I'm certain that the exercise helped. Now I'm going to shut up and let Joe tell you his diet is dramatically different, and his exercise is completely different. And hide comments. I got rid of it. uh, but uh,
Poof, go away.
but we've walked the walk side by side, and sometimes we've gone running together and everything else. We've been doing this and fighting the battle together. How long has it been now? I mean, you started in when?
This
2011.
be six years in May. Started in 12.
Yeah, no, he
Six,
started. I hired him before I fired him in 2012, and he went on to be the best man at my wedding. So we've been through a little bit together.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
So my background comes from when Scott and I started working together and became friends about 6 years ago. Um, I was at one of my heavier weights. I think possibly the heaviest weight I'd ever been. And um, shortly after I started working in May. In June, I started CrossFit at my brother's house. We actually didn't even have a gym then. There was no location. We did it at his house. There was no CrossFit boiler room. We started doing CrossFit together. Me, Steven, and my OBB, his wife Jasmine, and my wife Sandra. And we all just started basically following what CrossFit.com told us to do. Um, we have a friend that owns a CrossFit gym in California, and so if we had questions, we would ask him. But we did that I probably did that for about 2 or 3 years, and I think I lost about 20 pounds in 2 or 3 years and kept it off just because everyday exercise. I mean, not every day, working out 4 or 5 times a week with just CrossFit, but I'd hit a lull and stopped losing weight. And I got to about 230 pounds, 230, I think 234. And I did a, um, I had a friend, I don't know where this came from. Oh, Steven had a friend. We had a friend come in and talk to us about Advocare, which is a multi level marketing thing. I think the products are great. If you want to get into it, we can get into that later. But I tried to set up to do a 24-day challenge. I had been depressed because my friend had just passed away and did one of these 24-day challenges, which basically they tell you how to eat with it. You take some fish oils, you take a few other supplements, and they tell you what to eat for 24 days. And the 24 days, I lost 17 pounds. So it was amazing. I loved the results from it.
I lost
But
when I did my 24-day challenge. I lost just fractionally more than him, but it was more than
I
me.
think I lost legitimately. I think I lost 17.4, and I think Scott lost 17.7
Yes, I think you are correct. but
because Scott is ultra competitive.
yes,
But yeah, so I lost 17 pounds on it. It was amazing. Um, and then really what that taught me more than anything was that I needed to take my nutrition seriously. I had not really ever done anything. I ate what I wanted. I did what I wanted. And we stuck with the Advocare way of eating, which is really eat real food. Um, until I'd say about 2 years ago, my wife and I did our first what's called a Whole 30, which is a 30-day cleanse. Eating real food, no dairy, no processed sugars. Your sugars come from fruits and vegetables. Um, and then now I see while we still do a 30-day cycle of what I call a Whole 30 cleanse, or it's a Whole 30. It's 30 days. It's a cleanse. We do it I call it every few months, every 3 or 4 months, just to kind of clear everything out. But rather than that, I eat what CrossFit really tells me to eat, which is you'll hear a lot of CrossFit people talk about paleo and the warrior diet and all this other weird stuff. Um, but what I eat is meats, nuts, seeds, fruits, some vegetables, little starch, and no sugar. So I can
Except
really eat
those
as much,
M&Ms.
except for that. Well, when I'm trying to be good, I do eat M&Ms. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So I didn't have any M&Ms this week. I can tell you that I didn't have any M&Ms through Christie's evil contraption. Uh, but
He
there was
says that.
an
He says that because the M&M
so
dispenser, it it's this. It looks like a picture frame on the wall. It's but so big I can't trying to get my hands on there. And
it's
the
like an eight
bottom
by ten.
it has a ball, and what happens is you turn the ball and there's like a little U. I can't like this that catches the M&Ms go in there, and then as you turn it they drop out. But if you don't shake it just right and bang on it and stuff, you can end up not
That's
getting
what she
any
said.
or just getting one, and it can make you absolutely crazy. Um,
And the bad thing is, it's between Scott and I sit about 20 feet away from each other at the firm, and
it's true.
um, I can leave when I leave his desk. I can walk like 10 feet and get to the M&Ms, and then turn around and walk like 10 feet to my desk, and we're there. Um, and there have been a number of times where I leave Scott's desk and then turn around and get like seven or one flipping M&M, and and I walk back to my desk even now. But my goal usually is black coffee. I've gotten pretty good at drinking black coffee. Every now and then I'll throw some heavy
Racist.
cream in it. That's right. I don't like the creamy the light brother coffee.
Clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee.
I drink black coffee. I drink drink about a half a gallon to a gallon of water a day. Um, and that's really what I do. Now I'm not perfect at by any stretch of imagination. Today I've eaten a lot of crap just because it's Easter and I'm having fun with my family. But what I'll do is I'll turn around and go back tomorrow and eat what I'm supposed to eat. And it really helps me.
That
I go fluctuate between I can fluctuate between 195 now and 205. I've been fluctuating since Christmas. Christmas really kicked my tail this year, but between 205 and 210 to 215. Um, I really gained a lot of weight over Christmas just because I got away from everything I was doing and life was fun.
Joe, hold on. I have to put this on the screen right now. We just got called hilarious. That's the best compliment this podcast has ever gotten.
Boom, boom. We're going home.
um, but actually, on a serious note, what Joe just said right there, the thing that Joe and I have both done in this iteration of our weight loss battle is we have kept doing it. Um,
Yes.
I lamented recently, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, that I was stuck. I was in a bad way, and I've been that way numerous times. I mean, I think it was February of last year. I had like the month of a weight loss lifetime where, um, like all I had to do was walk by a scale and I lost a pound and a half. I didn't have to weigh myself, and I knew I was a pound and a half lighter. And then I hit March, and that really sucked. I lost. You go from losing 19 pounds in a month to losing three, and it struggled. But I kept going, and it doesn't matter, in my opinion, if you pick Atkins, Paleo, Warrior, the Butter and Splenda. I don't think I'd advocate the Butter and Splenda diet. I know somebody that did it, and she smelled funny. But that wasn't because of the Butter and Splenda. But the Whole 30, pick something, and make a commitment to stick with it.
Yeah.
Because I know from as I've never hidden. I am an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic as well. I've been sober for over 30 years, and really simple. It's not. the last drink that gets you drunk. It's not the cheeseburger on the cruise that got you fat. It's what you ate leading up to the to there. And oh my God, my wife's cat is going nuts. But simply put, I don't just, and I'm not saying Joe shouldn't, because it works for him. But for me, I don't eat one M&M, whether I could get one or seven. I even know where the bag is. I could get a whole handful if I wanted to. But I know if I ate one M&M today, then tomorrow I would be like, well, maybe I should have two. And then a week later, maybe I should have a handful. Um, and that's another thing that works for me. So, but
Hey,
you got to
Scott,
stick with it. Yeah.
can you see? Hey, baby, you about to
Hey,
go?
Emmy, can you
Are you
see
about to
me?
go to bed?
I'm waving.
You see Mr.
I look at.
Scott? Hey, so, hey, Daddy,
How's
Mommy,
her?
or Daddy and
Does
Scott
her
will be
butt feel
done.
okay?
What's that?
Does her butt feel okay?
Does your butt feel okay? Yeah, butt feels good. Hey,
Good, good,
so,
good.
um, are you about to go to? Are you about to go to the bedroom? Okay. If you're going to read a book, Daddy and Scott will be done in a few minutes. So if you want to hang out with Mommy for a few minutes, no, don't worry about the banana. We're going to hang out with Mommy for a few minutes. I'll be out in about probably about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. All right. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Mwah. I love you.
Good night, Emmy.
Scott said good night. Say night night. She's just smiling. She's crazy. Love you. Shut the
She
door, baby.
gets. She always gets real shy around me. She's like, "Oh my
She,
God, that guy's loud."
she's shy around everybody. She's because I'm shy about everybody. Bye. Shut the door. Um, yeah. So like Scott said before we were interrupted, the yeah, you got to keep with it. Whether where you're at, if you can't have an M&M, don't have an M&M. A good example. I told Scott this week. I think my wife called me this week. We did really well eating the entire week. No cheat meals, no anything like that throughout the entire week. But my wife called me, I think on Wednesday, and she said, um, "I really want to get a Starbucks." And so my question was, I asked her, I was like, "Hey, um, is that going to be a trigger food for you or a trigger drink for you? If all of a sudden I can't have a Starbucks because if I have a Starbucks, what's going to happen is I'm going to go to work and I'm going to eat M&Ms, and then if I'm going to eat M&Ms, I might as well go to McDonald's and get this, and then all of a sudden my entire day is shot, and that's not what you want to do. So you need to be able to identify your trigger foods. Scott doesn't need to have M&Ms, so he doesn't have M&Ms. For me, I'm the same way though. I can't honestly. If I have M&Ms, it does wreck me for the day, and I mess up a lot more often. But try to identify what makes you struggle. Realize also if you struggle for one day, it's not over.
Yeah.
Um, it is just
Just
one meal, one day.
if you fall down, get back up and keep walking. Keep
That's
walking down the same path.
yeah. It's
There
it's a
may come a
long
time where
journey,
you
and it
change paths, but make it a positive change. Don't. Well, this isn't working, so I'm going to order a pizza.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be. There's not one way to do it. To do it, there's not. Everybody's different. I would definitely recommend finding an exercise program that you can stick with. Scott loves cycling; it's what he loves to do. He's real. I mean, not that you have to be good at it, but he's good at it. He enjoys doing it. For me, I haven't ridden a bicycle since I was like 12 or 13 years old. That'll change in the next few weeks, but haven't changed in a while. And for me, I love weightlifting and uh, I like running. That's as weird as that sounds. I like weightlifting and I like running and I like doing cardio stuff. So CrossFit fits right in there with me. So I do these short workouts, 20-minute workouts, high intensity. I'm sweating and laying on the floor, and Scott goes for 3-hour bike rides. We both love it. We both get enjoyment out of it. And we both, get a great feeling. And that's really key to me is find something you love doing exercise wise, something you're going to stick with it. And Scott's been cycling for most of his life, and since he's gotten fitter, he's been doing it a lot more often. I've literally CrossFit 3 to 5 times a week, sometimes more than that, for 5 years now. It's part of my lifestyle. I do it when I'm on vacation. Scott goes rides when he's on vacation. Uh oh, I just heard Emmy get in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Um, but that's something you can do. Find something that you enjoy doing. If you go for a run for a month and you go, I really hate running, stop running and find something else that you enjoy doing. Um,
Or just sign up for the Peachtree and only run in the month of June. That works
that
too.
that's what Scott does. He rides a bike for 11 months. He runs runs in June and July 4th, and then no more running until next June.
It's pretty much true. So okay, so we're actually starting to get close to long here. What else is on your card?
One thing I do want to discuss too, we don't have to discuss the Hatchimal. I may I bought my daughter something for Easter. It was kind of cool, but that was on there. One thing I did definitely want to discuss is my man Scott here, and no longer
Oh,
being young. He's an old man now, at the ripe old age of 50 and not fat. And that was your goal. I
that is
wanted to say
true.
happy birthday to you. So
And some people may not know the whole 50 not fat thing. I just want to cover that I'll try and keep it short. Um, Memorial Day 2016, I was depressed and hated myself because I was fat, and I decided I didn't want to turn 50 being fat. And I created a Facebook page that's still out there and has been updated forever. Um, and when my goal was to live on March 29th, 2018, my 50th birthday, to not be fat. And while I probably could lose some weight and I still need to keep working out, I learned a lot about myself. And today I don't really consider myself fat. And that feels great. So I am 50. I am not fat. And you know what?
that's it.
I
Now,
mean, honestly.
now that you're 50 and not fat, go order a pizza and eat some Oreos. And uh,
Well, the thing that I learned is that I don't
the
want
new
the
hashtag is 60 and fat.
60 and fat. Yeah, that's it. Now, I learned that actually here's the key thing I learned when I wrote that. And you probably, oh geez, how many spreadsheets did I send you about what weight I needed to be on what date in order to be a certain weight by a certain date? I completely and totally obsessed about the weight. And what I learned is it's about fitness and feeling good. It's not necessarily about weighing 199 or 195 or 204 or two whatever that it may be. It's about getting yourself in a way that you can do what you want to do, and then when you can go pick your clothes out of the closet, they fit and you feel good about it. Um, it's about a life, changing your life to make yourself enjoy it, and that's what I've done. So it's not. Yes, I weigh a ton less. Not a ton, obviously. That if I weighed 2,200 pounds,
You're
I would.
setting a record.
Exactly. If I could lose 2,200 pounds or 2,000 pounds in 18 months, I could be like on Oprah or something.
That's some sort of record.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I want to say this is going back to what we were talking about with trigger foods. Scott, show what you were just drinking. Scott drinks Diet Coke. That's a trigger for me. I can't drink soda. I love soda so much,
Oh,
but it is a
speaking
trigger
of
for me.
trigger foods, for me now, this is an awesome trigger food. I should have said this before when we were talking about my birthday, but it's just like my brain doesn't work sometimes. It did right now. We have two viewers. Okay, we have two viewers. We got to find out who the other viewer is while I talk about my birthday. The other viewer is, it only says we have one viewer here. I can't see our other viewer. Okay, if you're a viewer, tell us who you are or ask a question. We'll answer it. My wife, Cindy, she took me to uh,
Fogo de
Fogo,
Chao.
Fogo de Chao, and that is the ultimate keto restaurant. Okay, so the other thing, it's so cool because these dudes wearing pants that look like culottes or something, they come around on a regular basis with swords with meat, and they have super sharp knives, and they go, and none of this is showing up on the screen because I don't know what I'm doing. But one of the coolest things they had filet mignon. Some of you call it filet mignon. I call it filet mignon wrapped in bacon on a sword brought to my table. And that had to be about the best daggum thing I've ever eaten. It was succulent. I truly enjoyed that. But if you decide to do keto and have a large budget, if you just went there every night, you could do really good because everything out off the salad bar is pretty much 110% keto.
So I'll say before we get ready to get off of here. Actually, the funny thing is my phone's going to die in a minute. I think the viewer is my buddy Adam Vancour. He's one of my 5 a.m. members. For those that don't know, I coach a CrossFit class at 5 a.m.
Actually, it's you.
Well, I jumped on for a second to see who it was, and it said
Oh,
Adam Van is watching.
oh,
So,
oh,
Adam, what
maybe.
up? If you got any questions, let us know. If not, then I'll see you at your button at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, well, it's 5 a.m. right now, soon to be possibly a 4:30 a.m. class. It's getting more fun, and we're moving classes around. But next week is 5 a.m. So I'm not looking forward to my alarm clock going off at 3:50 a.m. to go to the gym.
So what else is on your little green card?
That's it. That's all I had. Other than if you want, I'd say we can discuss your motorcycle riding that you've had, but we can discuss that later. I
Oh,
know we're
okay.
we're
So
approaching 9 o'clock.
I have an amusing anecdote that we'll use as a segue into probably three more topics, but we'll try and wrap up with this. So I went after church today. I went for a motorcycle ride because I occasionally like to do that, and it was a uh,
Sorry, I was looking for another green sheet for next week.
oh, if we hurry, we can do HQ trivia and win $75,000. And if we win $75,000, I'll get a real tapestry for the ISIS cave. But anyway, so I told you that's the second subject that I said since I said I was going to tell the story. So going up Highway 19 from Dahlonega towards Blairsville is basically a roller coaster made for going fast and having fun on a motorcycle or a sports car. So I'm riding along up the hill, and I mean, the turns just roll together, and you don't even have to be really good, but the better you get, the more you can actually just feel your body. You know, when you go around a tight turn on a roller coaster and you feel your whole buttocks push down into the seat, you get to the point where you're just pushing all the way down on the motorcycle, and your tires are hooking up, and you are just oh man, it's so awesome. But I look over and I see these three wing nuts. There's two of them on a motorcycle, and one of them in a Mustang, and they have GoPro units mounted all over the Mustang. It looks like some kind of alien or something. And the motorcyclists have GoPros on their motorcycles, and as well as one on top. They look like a Monchichi or something, or a Teletubby with a GoPro on top of their head. I think it's so stupid. I see it. I'm like, dude, do you realize what you look like? And nobody wants to see that footage anyway. Um, I know I've made footage and tried to show people, and they're like, well, that was fun. Do we have to watch the whole hour? No. Anyway, so back to the story that's now taking close to an hour. So not that I condone illegal lane changes or anything. I don't really condone them, but I might have partaken in a few. Um, it's a two-lane wide road, and in order to hit the apex of the turn, if you're coming off one turn, you very frequently check the lane next to you and sweep across the other lane, and it just makes it's one of the reasons I love motorcycling, and that road it puts me in a zen state. Well, I'm getting ready to dive into a right-hand corner, and thank goodness I do. One of the things you do before you change lanes, obviously, is you look. I check my mirror, and I'm doing. Let's just say I was probably exceeding the speed limit by at least double digits, and I see the Mustang coming at me at probably double my speed. He cuts under me on the shoulder, takes the corner with the motorcycle behind him so close that I didn't see him until he was passed. I'm like, are you kidding me? And they went on to pass a whole bunch of other cars. I'm just like, man. And honestly, Joe, when I say I might have been exceeding the speed limit, I'm hoping you're reading into
Got it.
I'm
You
it's
were.
it's my favorite road. But
It was. We were slightly. Well, slightly. Air quotes. Slightly exceeding the speed limit.
yes, I don't think I was quite doubling it. I know they were. They may have been tripling the speed. So anyway, I had a great ride. I went up through. I don't know how I got to Dahlonega, quite honestly, because I kept just finding a road that looked cool and taking it. I got to Dahlonega, and then I went to Blairsville, and then I basically rode some of the Six Gap ride backwards, and then I headed home. Just cleared my mind and got me ready for my fun week of on call, which I'm sure tonight is the last night I go to bed until Friday.
But
So
let's just transition. The last night goes to bed, but hey, Wednesday. Remember Wednesday at 11 Eastern Daylight Time, guys. We should have Becky Konzelman join us to discuss something. Like I said, our
we're
first.
EDT right now. Are we daylight saving time? Is it
Daylight saving
EDT?
time. Yeah, we're in saving now. That's why it is bright outside at 8 p.m. The but yeah, so this Wednesday we'll have a midweek Fat Guys No More.
And if you can't make it, keep in mind that on every single episode, we do it live on Facebook. Moments later, our tech staff, that'd be me, downloads the episode and converts it to multiple formats. We store it on the Podbean so you can listen to it in your iPod or phone at work. You don't really have to look at us, though we are pretty charming.
I got to give
We're,
you a
we're
quick.
available on.
I think my mom looks at us. I think my wife does not.
Yeah, she's seen us both. Um,
Yes.
but we're available on iTunes through the podcast search functionality that I have no idea about because I know nothing about that. We're also available on Google Play, the Podbean, the YouTube. If you search for Fat Guys No More, I think we show up now. But we're also always available on Facebook Live. So you can find us in many places. In addition, you can email Scott at fatguysnomore.com or Joe at fatguysnomore.com or find us on the Twitter. I think we're at Fat Guys No More. I don't remember. I'm at Scott Patton, and he's, what are you?
At Joe underscore Bragg.
Joe underscore
At
Bragg.
Joe underscore Bragg, and I believe I am JBragg30 on
Yes.
Instagram. So
Yes, I think
I
so.
always mess up my Instagram, guys. Follow me on Twitter. I do get on Twitter.
I'm the real
Um,
Scott Patton on the Instagram. And by the way, one of the people, well, I feel bad that we don't mention them more often. I want to give a last minute shout out to the Barman and Bevo podcast, who,
yes.
if they had never started theirs, I probably would never have thought of doing this, and ultimately we wouldn't exist. So we do have to give them some credit. And
It's not
they
true. I would have existed. My parents fooled around 30 years
no,
ago,
this
36 years
podcast
ago, and
wouldn't
I
have
exist.
existed.
I existed.
Okay,
Barman and Bailey is not. They're not my daddy.
okay.
I'm just kidding. No, seriously,
Well,
those guys are awesome.
they just okay, but they just had a milestone the other day. Their Podbean downloads hit 1,000 downloads. So
Awesome. That's real.
now ours, I don't know how we're tracking on that, and it's probably good because otherwise I'd be competing and trying to get Chinese or Korean gamers to download the podcast to catch up. Um, but that was a big thing, and uh, Barman is underscore Coach Barman on the Twitter, and Bevo always gives him a hard time. But I am now I forget but I'm their number one fan, and the only person that I get a Scott Patton shout out on every podcast. And I'm now their number one fan on the Twitter as well. So you can check them out in all those places I just stated, and they always give me a guilt trip for having them go on the Google Play, but I would like to point out there are more Android phones in use than there are iPhones, so supporting the number one platform is probably a good idea.
So I did want to say a special.
How many subjects did we go for the motorcycle show?
I don't know. That was a bird for anti Apple people. But so I want to say shout out to thanks for my wife. She gave me a Rhett and Link book today. Good mythical book or whatever what it's called. But Rhett and Link are one of my favorite internet tainers, and so I'm really excited to look at that. That being said, hey, here we go. Watch this. I got music. Do you got music, Scott?
Oh, well, I was going to say that before you go, Rhett and Link, if you don't know them, go to the YouTube and search for Rhett and Link. Rub some bacon on it, and I want you all to rub some bacon on something this week. And next week, when we'll try to remember to ask, and we'll find out what you rubbed your bacon on. Keep it clean. This is PG-13.
And let's see what we get on this, and we'll see if I can figure out how to fade out. Let's see.
No,
We're playing happy acoustic today. Oh, well, that's a good fade out music. When I fade out, hit stop.